First, we'll have a short meditation to arrive. And I invite you to mute yourselves and to sit yourself in a posture where you can feel your spine stretching upward, and noticing the feet on the floor, noticing the floor and beneath that the earth holding you, embracing you, embracing you with the force of gravity. Feeling your backside against the chair or cushion. And the pressure of gravity. Feeling the weight of the torso and head and arms. Noticing the air in the room. And how it feels against the face and skin. And feeling the breath. Taking 2 or 3 purposefully deep breaths. Allowing the air to massage the inside of the torso. And feeling it coming in and out of the nose and chest. And when you're ready, returning to the group. And here's a roadmap of what we'll be doing. I'll lead us through a guided meditation, feeling the body. And then Ellie will lead us in mindful movement. I'll share then about the Satipatthana Sutta and how we can feel the body as the body, which the Buddha instructed is the way to freedom. And we'll break out after that into groups to share about how this landed with us, about our intention regarding feeling the body, being living in the body. So we're starting with guided meditation. And I invite you to, sitting upright, assume a posture that allows you to connect with the whole of the body. So, just sitting in a way that allows you to feel the entire body. And guiding your attention to the places of contact where your feet contact the floor, where your backside is against the cushion or chair, where your hands are resting. And sensing the whole bodily experience now as a field of energy, of vibration or texture. We're often aware of the knees or the fingers, not so much the entire body. Sensing the energy of this body. And this field of energy might extend a little bit larger than the body itself. So, opening awareness to this energy, to all the feelings, subtle though they may be, that tell us we're alive, we're here. And part of this may involve allowing the thinking muscle of the brain to soften, to recede into the background, just for now. Just aware of the body's openness, its energy, its subtlety. And moving attention to the arms, the entire span of the arms from the shoulders to the hands. Feeling the arms soften even while they are coursing with energy. Gentle energy, perhaps, subtle energy. The flux and flow of the arms energy. Including the hands with their many nerve endings and sensors. And knowing that awareness will shrink with distraction or contraction or out of habit. It will shrink. Just open it up again and again. And if you're not aware of sensation now, that's okay. Just tuning into that lack of sensation. That's being present with what's here. Now imagining or sensing a line of energy from the top of the head to the tailbone. Being upright and feeling the aliveness moving up and down the entire torso. It may be subtle. So being entirely receptive to the delicate energy. And you may still be aware of the energy in the arms. sensing it animating the spine and torso, and head, arms, and hands. Simply being receptive, not looking for a sensation, simply being open to what's there, what's here. And being aware of breathing and very gently taking long and slow, deep breaths, not gulping, not even moving a lot of air, just gently opening up the body with the breath, opening up awareness to the full space. Slightly longer and slightly slower breaths, still comfortable breaths. Opening awareness to the space of the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, feeling the aliveness gently. And breathing naturally if that feels right, or continuing with the long and slow breaths. Just feeling the flux and flow of aliveness, the trill of aliveness, the entire length of the body, up and down the arms and hands, allowing whatever sensation is there, not efforting or looking for it. And when awareness contracts, simply coming back to this body energy. This is the body's awareness. Awareness abiding in the body. it feels right. Focusing on the breath. Or feel free to remain with awareness of the entire body. Now, my friends, returning when it feels right, opening the eyes. Now we will be treated to mindful movement by Ellie.
Good morning, everyone. We are going to come into our bodies gently and please honor whatever you need. If anything that I am doing in my square doesn't meet what your body needs, please put it down and adjust in any way that feels good. But maybe we could just start either seated or standing by just taking our left ear towards our left shoulder. And it sometimes can be helpful to just open the mouth and take a deeper breath in and out, inviting the earlobe to melt downwards on your exhalation. We can gently bring everything through center and then allow that right ear to drop towards the right shoulder. Again, for a little bit of a deeper stretch, you could open the mouth gently, just letting things soften, and then we can find our way back through center. We can bring our arms into a cactus shape, and on the inhale, just gently bringing the fingertips towards each other overhead. On the exhale, finding that neutral cactus position. Let's do that again. You can bring your chin up as you breathe in. Exhale, drawing the elbows down. Let's try one more. Breathing in, lifting, slightly opening the chest. On the exhale, finding that cactus position. Let's rest the arms for just a moment and maybe just make some shoulder circles. This can go either forwards or back. And since you are muted, it can sometimes be really nice to bring a little bit of sound to your exhale. So if you're drawing the shoulders up as you breathe in, Just letting some sound out as you breathe out. Our vagus nerve really appreciates when we bring some sound quality into our movement. If you want to place one hand over each shoulder, we're going to take the shoulders up by the ears to start, just taking a breath in and squeezing. And then on your exhale, drawing the elbows away from the ears. You can gently turn your chin towards your right shoulder, breathing in. Exhale back to neutral. Let's inhale over to our left and exhale back to neutral. Yoga is very much about balance and mindful movement, the same. Our body sometimes enjoys to do things on both sides. So maybe let's invite that right ear down on this side, inviting the shoulders to gently melt down the back. You can circle the chin through center, inviting that left ear to drop, lengthening through the right side of the neck. We can come back to center. If we could bring our thumbs towards the heart and then just energetically drawing the shoulders down. And we'll just take 3 sort of cleansing breaths. You can reach as wide as you'd like. You can invite the chin to come. So inhale, reaching up. On the exhale, drawing back to heart center. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. 1 more. Breathing in, reaching, and breathing out to the heart. If it feels comfortable to stay here for just a moment, we're going to take our chin over towards our left shoulder. You can leave the thumbs at heart center or allow the thumbs to move towards the right side body, inviting a gentle twist. Maybe tucking the chin a little more deeply, closing the eyes or softening the gaze. And then gently bring the thumbs back to heart center. We will again take our chin opposite side over our right shoulder. And you can leave the thumbs in center if it feels supportive and you want to deepen that twist a little. Gently allow the hands to find their way towards the left side of the body. And then gently breathing in. On the exhale, bringing everything back to neutral. We'll come into our cactus shape one more time. And I'm just going to offer this for those of us who sit for a good portion of our day. Right before you come to seated, you can just do this little exercise to invite a longer spine. So we're going to draw our elbows in towards our side ribs. We're going to bring our hands together. Imagine that you're carrying a tray of maybe your favorite dessert, and then gently bring the palms towards the floor. And it's sort of a trick. Your spine has just gotten significantly longer, so you can gently let the arms go. And maybe before we close our mindful movement today, we will incorporate a little bit of Qigong, and you can do this standing or seated. But we're just going to gather energy and ground energy. So bringing a soft bend into the elbows. On your inhale, gently reaching the arms up, gathering energy. On the exhale, palms towards the floor, grounding. We'll do 2 more. You can let the reach get wider. If you're seated, this is accessible as well. And you can really bend into the knees, bringing in the whole body. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, gathering. Exhale, grounding. And before we close our practice, maybe just rubbing the hands together, creating a little bit of heat and warmth. I know our world is giving us some heat and warmth right now. And then just gently placing the hands over heart center. Maybe closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Just calling to mind something in your life that brings you a sense of joy, gratitude, or wonder. And just taking that breath in, letting the breath go. And I will turn it back to Catherine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellie. That was so energizing and also relaxing. Thank you. So that was a great intro to being in the body. Pausing for one moment. So we all know that awareness of the body is so fundamental to mindfulness overall and to Buddhist spirituality. And in our tradition, insight or vipassana meditation, a lot of the teaching is devoted to an inner knowing of the body, experiencing the sensations of the body from the inside out. And a primary teaching of this is the Satipatthana Sutta, a very famous text attributed to the Buddha. And it's really the foundational text in the Theravada Buddhist world. And this sutta teaches us the four foundations of mindfulness, which begin with mindfulness of the body. And the other three foundations are mindfulness of feeling tones, which are pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. Mindfulness of mind states and mindfulness of mental processes. So Gil Fronsdale, who did a fabulous translation of the Satipatthana Sutta, says if you want to dive right into the path of freedom and liberation, into an intimate connection with the present moment where you can find freedom, this is the direct way. And he also said, as I went through the teachings, I saw that sati, mindfulness, was associated with verbs. We think of it primarily as mindfulness. But he said it's associated with verbs such as to abide in, to establish, to cultivate. Just like when a farmer is creating conditions by tilling the soil, fertilizing, watering. It's just creating the conditions for the plant to grow. And that's what the sutta asks us to do. It doesn't command that we establish awareness of the body, but the idea is if we can pay attention to the body in an immediate, unhindered way, it brings about a wholesome condition of mindfulness. The sutta says, putting aside greed and distress for the world, a monastic observes with ardor, clear comprehension, and awareness the body in terms of the body. And observe here means a non-reactive awareness. that sees but doesn't affect or fixate on touching or manipulating or correcting our experience. So, this observation creates the conditions for mindfulness. And the sutta goes on to say, breathing in, I sense the whole body. Breathing out, I sense the whole body. You may be familiar with it and you can read it, so I won't go through the whole thing. But it says to be aware when we're sitting, know I am sitting. When lying down, one knows I am lying down. When eating, urinating, or defecating, know those activities are happening. When walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking, and remaining silent, one acts with clear comprehension. The sutta also reminds us or teaches us that our body is composed of the four elements that the earth itself is composed of. And this helps us appreciate non self. It helps us appreciate we're not a unique, special Catherine. It demystifies the idea of self because the body is a part of nature and it's comprised of nature's elements: earth, water, fire, and air. The sutta instructs us to visit the charnel house, which is where dead bodies in the Buddha's time were. It instructs us to see decomposing bodies in various stages, to bring home the reality that we, our body, will die and will rot, and that now we're alive and breathing. So it teaches to feel the body directly, to understand viscerally that we're a part of nature and will die. So be the body in this moment while you're alive. Our ideas about the body can create and do create a lot of dukkha, a lot of suffering. We're conditioned to see the body as an idea, really, because that's how we see others' bodies, the bodies of other people. We don't feel them from the inside out. Kim Allen, who's a Dharma teacher from the West Coast, says, because that's how we experience other bodies, we see them from the outside and we formulate judgments and ideas. That's how we relate to our own. We judge our own bodies from the outside. And we often think something's wrong. We have a physical self-image, which can create stories about unworthiness and inadequacy, especially in this image-obsessed culture. Or we may obsess about the condition of the bodies, maybe about our health, our skin, being overly concerned with longevity, supplements. And that can take us away from experiencing the body as the body. Some people have been conditioned so that they're fearful. Well, we've all been conditioned to fear to some extent. And that can be so severe that we may hold our stomach and our middle really tightly as if it's armor to protect us from the outside world. Some people come from backgrounds that view the body, especially pleasure from the body, as wrong. And that makes it hard to relax into bodily sensations. And even if that conditioning occurred in our childhood and we've been counter conditioned, it's probably still entrenched. And what we're going to talk about today is emotional difficulty. When people have emotional and or have strong and difficult emotions, sometimes they can't bear to experience them. And I think probably most of us have done that. We numb out. We cut the connection to certain parts of the body because it's only by feeling our emotions in our body that these tough emotions are felt. And physical discomfort also can cause a severing, a numbness. So for both emotional and physical discomfort, we think of it as a solid thing. If we have an injury or a pain in our body, we push it away, right? We know that's the cause of suffering. It's clinging to what's pleasant and pushing away what's unpleasant. And the mind plays a really important role in this dynamic. Sometimes I've noticed that when I sit meditating, I'm tense because I'm anticipating that my spine will hurt, because occasionally it does. So even if there's no pain, I'm tensing out of anticipatory pain. And when a pain does arise, I have noticed that my mind will go into this belief that, oh no, this is here, it's going to last, only going to get worse. And that causes me to tense. And in general, humans do tense when they encounter discomfort. And that it actually increases, exacerbates the sensations of pain. And tensing up against emotional pain is something we do as well. So these are some of the ways that we experience the body as an idea versus experiencing it as the immediate sensations in the here and now. And for the untrained mind, our experience of the body comes from conditioning, from unconscious ideas and fears, from emotions, and from our experience. And so the Satipatthana offers the possibility of deconditioning, of actually abiding and opening to the body so we can feel or realize freedom from clinging and from suffering. So the Satipatthana teaches us to open to the body, and to allow and observe change. Gil Fronsdale, the translator, says abiding is repeated throughout this sutta, and it's translated in English sometime as dwelling. To abide is to live in a place as if it's your home, to be fully there, not rushing toward the next thing, not expecting an outcome, but to be in a place of profound rest, not lethargic rest, but restfulness that's alive and alert and open. So we can practice that when we meditate. We can feel what's happening in the body without judging or fixing or doing anything at all. It can be a very spacious and peaceful way of just watching and seeing. Being in the body, not in terms of our judgments or our mind states or our mental processes, our attitudes, our agendas. It's really a radical simplicity. It's simple, but it's not easy. One of the common metaphors that we use when we discuss insight meditation is that we don't want to be too loose or too tight. So that means if we try too hard, too tightly, our body will be rigid and it won't be receptive. And if there's inadequate effort, if we don't try hard enough, we'll fall asleep or we'll slump over or start daydreaming. And we won't be able to feel the breath or other sensations. And how the body goes, so goes the mind. So we want to balance effort with relaxation. So both the body and mind can be alert and upright, open and receptive. And the mind has this tendency, as we all know and have experienced, to launch into stories. We feel it ache and we start, at least I start thinking, this pain is coming back. Oh no, it's going to be here when I go on vacation in a month. Or it's going to interfere with my teaching. I won't be able to sit and compose lessons. And that thinking, those ideas directly interfere with our feeling the body. And that's why we practice in meditation. Because it's only when we're quiet and still that we can experience the resonances of the body that are hidden for us in our everyday life. We want to feel our alive, breathing body. And essentially, what that means is the mind doesn't interfere with the body feeling itself. Sometimes it's expectations that get in the way. I've noticed that when I'm sitting, following the breath, I've had a sense all of a sudden that I'm waiting for something to happen. Have you ever felt this? It's like you're not just being here, you're kind of waiting for an outcome. Like, Is someone going to rush in and give me a prize for being the best meditator? I don't know. And of course, the sutta instructs us just to observe and abide, rest at home and in peace with what the Buddha calls open heartedness and ardency, being ardent. And so I have tried to imagine, and maybe you can, what it would be like to really live out this instruction in our everyday life. Really being in the body as I attend a work meeting or as I cook dinner or as I encounter a conflict with a loved one. And it seems like one promise of that would be that I would be open to whatever comes next, because it's the mind that clings to outcomes. And we Western practitioners are often caught in our heads. One meditation master from Thailand, who Ajahn Buddhadasa, was asked how the Western world appeared to him from his remote forest monastery in Thailand. And he said, lost in thought. And I know I am often truly lost in thought. We live as if our brain is really the important part of us. It's the control tower. And our body is just sort of the device, the vehicle for the brain. So the body offers us a way of freedom and a way of healing. Emotional suffering, as we all know, registers in the body. And often when we feel it, the mind contracts and pushes away the painful emotions. And that actually causes the emotions to grow, to morph maybe into something else. Like my hurt at what my friend said, if I repress it, it turns into resentment and anger. So the next time you're feeling hurt or angry because a loved one doesn't seem to hear or appreciate you, try staying close to the feelings in the body. For me, that kind of upset can cause like a churning in the belly. And your body may manifest it in a different way. Meet these experiences with mindfulness and compassion by noting or understanding hurt feels like this, anger feels like this. Not judging your feelings and not trying to get rid of them. And also, it's helpful to notice when the mind starts to create a narrative, a story. Oh, she always reacts like this because she thinks, blah, blah, blah. And that's human. We all do that. Let that fall away and simply stay with the sensations in a relaxed way. You may notice that you're doing all this to get rid of the feelings and sensations. And that's natural, that's protective. Just noticing it. And that's that noticing with openness is the miracle of mindfulness of the body. Being aware of what's happening in the body and our reaction to it leads to wisdom. And focusing on particular body sensations frees us from the stories, which actually prolong difficult feelings. I personally have found that when I'm faced with loss and emotional pain, my tendency is to retreat to my mind, to just incessantly think. At one point in my life, I was on a meditation retreat after experiencing significant loss. It was a retreat focused on concentration of the breath. And so when I was able to pin my attention to the breath, there was relief. And that was essentially a spiritual bypass because meditating allowed me to avoid difficult feelings. But when my attention wasn't laser focused on the breath, the mind was spinning and obsessing about the loss. It was repeating stories and narratives and arguments about what happened and what should have happened, how I was at fault or someone else was at fault. Or it was rehearsing conversations that I never planned to have about it. So while I was on my cushion, I was generally able to gather my attention on the breath. Sometimes my mind would wander, but always when the meditation was over, the brain would go kick into gear. The thoughts hurt. And the thinking was really a way of clinging. It was a way of trying to control the pain and deny what was real, what was. And so I asked the retreat teacher what I could do about the incessant thinking because it was really painful. And they said, focus on the grief, let the body feel it. That's where healing happens. And I had known that intellectually, but it was only when I was really brought to my knees by the pain of obsessive thinking that I tried something different. And so my practice during the retreat became that when I noticed the thoughts starting up, it meant that there were emotions that the body needed to feel. And then I would turn my awareness to the chest and belly, and I would feel what was there. And the emotions were there, subtly at first, but then as the retreat went on, I was more able to feel the body because I was feeling the breath. And so the more attuned I was to the bodily sensations of grief. And in this way, I learned to allow the body to grieve. I mean, actually, the body taught me how to grieve. And so that's how healing began. And then for months afterwards, I would still have repetitive thinking. And I was able to turn it over to the body. And it felt like the body's healing wasn't really my individual body. It was more like it was organic and mysterious, like nature itself. Like my body knew where to make space, how to sort of regenerate, how to how to nurture. So thank you so much for your kind attention.